Hello guys, welcome to another video. This one is paper 2-1 of November 2011. So let's move on to question number 1. So we have ABC is a triangle where we have a right angle here, which is angle ABC, and BAC is 40, which means this angle here is 50. Okay, that's pretty easy. And P is a point on AB such that PCB is 20. Okay, that is good to know. Now next step is part 1 to find PB. PB is this side. Now if you observe, we have triangle PBC is a right angle triangle. We can use SOHCAHTOA to find PB. So here we have your adjacent side and here we have your opposite side, so we have to use 10. 10 of 20 is equal to PB over 10. So which means PB is equal to 10 tan of 20. That should be your value for PB. So 10 tan of 20, that should be 3.64 correct to 3SF. That is your length of PB. Now next one, AP. So how can you find AP? AP will be this length. So we first can find AB and then minus PB to find this. So that how do you find AP? So AB, so again to find AB, we can use SOHCAHTOA. So we know this angle is 50, so we can use tan again. So tan of 50 is equal to your opposite side, which is AB, over 10. So AB is equal to 10 tan of 50. That should be 11.9. 11.9 17 correct to 3 decimal place. Because AB is not the answer, we have to find AP. So AP is equal to AB minus PB. So AB is 11.917, PB is 3.64. That should give you 8.28. So 8.28 will be your value for AP. That is your answer for part B. Now for part C, find the perimeter of the triangle PBC. So PB we know already. So BC we know, we have to find PC. So since we have a right angle triangle, we can use the Pythagoras theorem. So PB square is 3.64 square plus 10 square is supposed to give you PC square. So PC is equal to what? 3.464 square plus 10 square. Square root of that, that should give you 10.6. So find the perimeter, we just have to add everything around. So this plus 10 and plus 3.64, that should give you 24.3. So your perimeter will be 24.3 centimeters. So don't forget to write down how did you find this. Perimeter is PB plus BC and plus PC. So PB is 3.64 from part 1. BC is given to you, and PC we found that by using the Pythagoras theorem. That is 24.3. That is your perimeter for question number 1. So we have to solve this equation. Solving means finding the value of t. So how can you solve this? So it has been factorized for you already. So we can just solve this as 5t is equal to 0. T is 0. That's your first value. And for this one, 3t plus 7 is 0. So 3t will be minus 7. So t will be minus 7 divided by 3. So that will be your other value. So this is part A. Now for part B, we have to solve this simultaneous equation. You can solve this by two methods. One is elimination and one is substitution. So I like using substitution. So in this question, I will make 4y your subject of formula. So 4y is 1 minus 3x. Okay? So now if you observe, here we have 8y. So what is 8y? 8y is 2 times 4y, right? So pretty easy. You can replace 4y in here. So you will have 5x minus 2 times 4y is 1 minus 3x equal to 9. Now if you expand, you will have 5x minus 2 plus 6x equal to 9. Now this plus this, that will be 11x equal to 11. So x will be 1. Now 4y equal to 1 minus 3 times 1. That will be 1 minus 3, which is minus 2. So y will be minus 1 half. So x is 1 and y is minus half. That is part B. Now for part C, we have to express this as a single fraction. So the first thing you see is that the bases are different. Now to find the LCM, we have to multiply them by each other. So we have p minus 2 multiplied by 2p plus 3. Now we have to cross multiply. So 5 times this will become 10p plus 15 and minus 4p plus 8. This will give you 10 minus 6. So 10 minus 4 is 6p plus 15 plus 8, that will be 23 over this one. So that should be your single fraction. If you want to expand the base, you can do that, but if not, that is okay as well. Now for part D, simplify this. We have to factorize top and bottom. So the top, as you can see, it is q squared minus 1. 1 is also 1 squared. That is q plus 1, q minus 1. Now the base, we have 2q squared minus 3q plus 1. If you factorize that, that should give you 2q times q, and 1 is 1 times 1. For us to get minus 3, has to be minus, minus. Now to divide, as you can see, that is, this 2 will go away. Remaining will be q plus 1 over 2q minus 1. That is part D. That is your question number 2. Now question number 3. So we have PQRS of 4 points on level ground. Now PQ is parallel to RS. So PQ is in the same direction as RS. That's the first thing to know. And QPS, so QPS is 60 degrees. We have PS and SD intersect at the point T. Now next question is write down the value of PSR, give a reason for your answer. So PSR is also 60 degrees. Why? Because if you observe, this is the interior angle with these two sides as parallel sides. So this is the same as this. But also, if you would know, this is also same as this. And finally, this is also same as this because they are vertically opposite to each other. But for now, this is the same as this, 60 degrees, because PSR and we can write QPS are alternate angles. You can write alternate angles. That's the reason why. Now for part B, the bearing of Q from P is 70. So the bearing of Q from P, so how do you find bearing? So you have to go to your point P, you have to draw a north line, and the bearing of Q from P is 70. Okay, this is given to us. Find the bearing of S from P. So where's S is here, from P will be 70 plus 60, that should be 130. Now next one, find the bearing of P from S. So from S, if you go to your point S, draw a north line, bearing of P from S, so you have to find this, this, and this. So how would you find this angle? So the first thing we can do is we have to observe, if you draw a north line at point Q, so what can you derive? So this is a straight line, this is 70, this is 60, so what is this one? That will be 180 minus the rest. Let's see what do we get. So 180 minus 70 minus 60, that is 50. Now these two lines are in the same direction. So this angle here is equal to this angle here. That is 110. And this angle here is equal to what? So we can try to find, if this is 110, that should be remaining of this one. So this is 70, that will be 70. This big one will be 70 as well. So let's see what else can we find. Now this one also joined to this one. So if this is 50, this is 50. Which means the bearing of P from S will be 360 minus 50. Okay, so 360 minus 50, that should be 310. Now we have to find the bearing of R from S. Of R from S. So we have to find this angle. Stop here, right? We have to find this one. So we have to find this one. So this one has been given to you by 60. So this will be 360 minus 60 minus 50. That should be 250. So the bearing of R from S, that will be 250. Okay, part C, explain why triangles PQT and SRT are similar. So why PQT and SRT are similar? So pretty easy. The reason why you can say this is because all the corresponding angle are the same. Are equal. That's why they are similar. By proving that all the angles, all the three angles are the same. So example, this angle is equal to this is equal to this, and this is equal to this. So all the three corresponding angles are the same. That's why they are similar. Now for part 3, given that PT is 54, TS is 36, and RQ is 85, find TQ. So since we have been given this, we'll have to use similarity to find the value of TQ. So let's see what's possible. So PT, let's label the side first. PT is this one. PT has been given to you by 54. Then we have TS, this one, is given to you by 36. We have RQ. RQ is the big one, given to you by 85. So RQ is 85. Now TQ, we have to find TQ. So what can we do here? We can call this one, let's call RT as X. Since you know, so what can we do here is, okay, so one easy way of doing that is because we know RQ is 85 given to you by the question. If you name RT as X, so TQ will be 85 minus X. Right, that's it. Something we can use to find the side. Now we can use similarity to form an equation. So first thing, this green angle here, opposite side we have 54. This green angle here, opposite side we have 36. So first equation will be 36 over 54 is equal to, so opposite this angle here we have this side, and opposite this angle here we have this side. This is X over 85 minus X. Okay, so let's write this down. That is the equation we were able to form using similarity. So 36 over 54 is equal to X over 85 minus X. Now we have to cross multiply. You will have on one side, so what is 36 times 85? That will be 3060 minus 36x equal to 54x. Now we send this over here. You will have 54 plus 36, that will be 90. 90x equal to 3060. X will be 3060 divided by 90. That should be 34. So the value of X is 90. As you can see, X here is 90. So here we have to find TQ, which is 85 minus x. So going back, t cubed is 85 minus x, which is 34. Okay, that will be 51. So t cubed will be 51 meters, and that will be your answer for part 2. So just to explain, to form this equation, we have to use similarity. So basically, we have to look at the corresponding side. So this angle, green angle, corresponding side will be this side, TS, which is 36. So let's write down TS divided by, now going to the big triangle, corresponding side of this green angle, opposite, that will be 54, which is PT. Now this should be equal to, so something else. So here we are trying to find this side. So this side will be this angle, which is equal to this angle will be this side. So we can write down TR over TQ. So by forming this equation, we can find the value of x first, and then find the value of 85 minus x. That's how you find the value of TQ. That is your question number 3. Now let's move on to question number 4. A pair of 5-sided spinner is numbered 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Now part 1, Maria spins it once. Find the chance that the number is obtained is 7. So 7 is, we have only 1. That is 1 chance over 5. Right? Pretty easy. Now it is odd. Odd is 1. So we have all the numbers are odd. So basically it is guaranteed to be odd. Okay, that is very easy. Now for part B, Pedro spins it twice and adds the 2 numbers obtained. Some of the results are shown in the table. So pretty easy. We have to add them together. So 3 plus 1 is 4, 5 plus 1 is 6, 7 plus 1 is 8. That will be 9 plus 1 is 10. 1 plus 3 is 4, 3 plus 3 is 6. That will be 8. That will be 10. 1 plus 5 is 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. That will be 8, 10, 10, 12, and 16. So you just have to add them. It's pretty easy. So 9 plus 3, that will be 12, 14, 16, and 18. Okay, this will be a table for part 1. Now for part 2, find the chance that the sum of the 2 numbers is odd. Odd, let's see how many numbers are odd. So if you count, here we have, this is even, even, so everything is even. So odd will be 0. So we don't have any odd results. Every number is even. Now for part B, how many numbers are 14 or more? So let's count 14 or more. So 14 or more, we have 14 here, 14, 16, 14, 16, 18. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 numbers. So 6, that will be 6 over 36 numbers in total. That will be 1 over 6 for your probability. So that is part B. Now for part C, Katrina spins it 3 times. Calculate the chance that the 3 numbers obtained are the same. Express your answer as a fraction in its lowest term. So we have many possibilities. So we have to find the chance that all the 3 numbers are the same. So let's say, for example, she obtains 1, 1, and 1, right? So you would say that will be 1 over 6 times 1. So we have actually 5 numbers. Okay, I made a mistake here because I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in total, we only have 25 numbers. So that is a mistake because usually a die has 6 numbers. So I assume wrongly of this one. That should be 6 over 25, not 36. So be careful always because it is really easy to make mistakes. Like these ones are pretty silly mistakes. Make sure you count everything properly. That was 25. That'll be 1 over 5, right? Not 6 because we only have 5 outcomes. So that is when she obtains 1, 1, 1. Okay? So now we have 1 over 5 times 1 over 5 times 1 over 5. That is 1 over 125. So that was an example if she obtains 1, 1, 1. Now she can obtain, for example, she can obtain 3, 3, and 3. Or else she can obtain 5, 5, and 5. Or she can obtain 7, 7, and 7. Or 9, 9, and 9. So these are the different possibilities. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options. So times 5 for your answer, that will be 1 over 25 for your chance. Okay, that will be your answer for part C. Okay, and that is question number 4. Let's move on to question number 5. So here we have the diagram. OBC is a sector of a circle, so OBC, okay. Now O is a center here, the angle is 60, and then A and D are the midpoints of OB and OC respectively. So if this is the midpoint, it means this is 6, that has to be 6 as well, and this is also 6 because D and A are the midpoints of these two lines. Now AED is a semicircle with AD as diameter, so AD is your diameter. So now the one thing you can observe is that if these two sides are the same, it means that these two angles has to be the same as well. Now if this is 60, this will be 180 minus 60 will be 120 divided by 2. These two will also be 60 and 60. Now since all the three sides are the same, this is also 6. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So AD is equal to 6 centimeters. So part 1, show that AD is 6. It is shown as required. So you can explain, definitely you can explain OA is equal to OD as 6 centimeters, right? And then we have angle BOC as 60, which means that, so this means we have triangle AOD is equilateral. So from this, AD has to be equal to 6 centimeters because all the angles are the same, so all the sides have to be the same. Now for part B, the length of the arc BC is n pi centimeter. Find the value of n. So how do we find the length of arc BC? So we have to find this length. Length of arc, we have to use your formula, which is the angle here is 60 divided by 360 times 2 pi r. So let's solve this. So we have 60 over 360 times 2 pi r is, radius here is what? 6 plus 6 is 12, that is the radius. So simplify, you will have 1 over 6 times 2 times 12 pi. So this one goes away, you will have 2 here, that is 4 pi. So value of n will be 4, that is 1. Now for part 2 is find the ratio of the length of the arc AED and the length of arc BC. So BC we have found already, it is 4 pi. What is AED? AED, so we have to find this one. So how do you find this one? As you can see, it is a semicircle, which is the angle is 180. So arc AED, the angle is 180, which is a semicircle, divided by 360 times 2 pi. Radius is, so if the diameter is 6, radius is half, that will be 3. So that will be, so this is half, that will go away, so you have 3 pi. So replace back here, you will have 3 pi, so the ratio will be 3 over 4. That is your answer for part 2. Now for part C, find the area of sector BOC. So how do you find area of sector? We have radius of 12, we have angle, we can use your formula. So pretty easy, angle will be 60 degrees over 360 times pi r square is 12 square. That will be 1 over 6 times 144 pi. So let's see, what do we have? So 1 over 6 times 144 pi, that should be 75.4, correct to 3SF. Okay, now for part 2, hence find the area of the shaded region. So I wonder where is the region. I think that should be the region shaded, right? So how would you find that area? So if you observe, it has to find the big area and then minus these two area, right? So let's do that. So how would you find this area? This is area of a, as you can see, it will be area of a triangle and then area of a semicircle. So let's do that. Area of triangle AOB. So half times sine of 60 times 6 times 6, the two side, that will be half of sine 60 times 36, that will be 15.588. Then we have to find area of semicircle, that is half of pi r square. So half times pi r square is, so the radius here is not 6, it is only 3 because diameter is 6, so radius is 3. That will be half pi times 3 square, 14.137. 137. Okay, so since we know these two, we can find the area of region. Area of shaded region will be this big one, so 75.4 minus 15.588 minus 14.137. That will be 45.7, correct to 3SF. So that will be your answer for part 2 of part C, question number 5. Now, question number 6. Ada and Bill owns a company. In 2008, Ada invests this much money in the company and Bill invests this much money in the company. Now express this in form of m and n, where m and n are the smallest possible integers. So pretty easy. You can just do that, 22500 over 37500, that should give you 3 over 5. So 3, 5 will be. So to show your work, you can just write down this 37500. So first thing you will do is you would cancel the zeros. You will have 225. Then you can divide by 5 on both sides. So 225 divided by 5, that should be 45. And 375 divided by 5, that should be 75. Now divide by 5 again, you can have 9. And you can have 15. Then divide by 3, you will have 3. And you will have 5. So answer will be 3 over 5 again. Now for part 2, the profit made by the company is shared in the ratio of the amount invested, which is 3 to 5. Okay? Given that Ada's share of the profit is this, calculate the total profit made by the company. So Ada and Bill, so Ada is 3 to 5. If 3 equal to 3600, so in total we have 8. So 3 is 3600. So 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 is a total. That will be 3600 divided by 3 times 8. That should be 9600 for the profit made by the company. Now for part 3, Ada's investment in 2008 is 12% more than the amount she invested in 2007. Calculate the amount she invested back in 2007. So let's write this down. So 2007 and 2008. So in 2008 she invested this much. This is given to you by the question. And we don't know how much she invested in 2007, but we know that it is 12.5% more. So plus 12.5% more. So always the initial amount, so when you come down to percentages, the initial amount is always 100%. So when you increase, it will become 112.5%. So now we just have to use ratios. So pretty easy as well. So now we know 112.5 is equal to 22,500. So how much is 100? That will be 2250 divided by 112.5 times 100 for the amount invested back in 2007. Times 100. That should be 20,000. That is your answer for part 3. Now let's move on to part B of the question. So here we have a lawnmower for this price. So we have plan A and plan B. So plan A was deposit of $595 and 12th monthly payment of this much. Plan B of this and 24 monthly payment of, we don't know. So part 1, Rashid buys one of these lawnmowers for this price. Said buys one of these lawnmowers using plan A. In total, how much more did more than Rashid will Said pay? So let's count. For plan A, how much will he pay? So plan A has been given to you as $595 as your deposit plus 12 times 171.04 for the payments. That will be 1221 point. Sorry, I made a mistake. So 595 plus 12 times 171.04. That should be 2647.48. 2647.48. So how much more will be this minus this? Minus 2395. That is 252.48. Okay, so that will be the amount he pays more. So let's write this down. This is an exact value, so we can write down this value in full. Now for part 2, when one of these lawnmowers is bought using plan B, the total cost was this much. Calculate the monthly payment. So pretty easy. Plan B was a deposit of this and 24 monthly payments. So plan B equal to 3054.20. It is equal to a deposit of $395 plus 24 payments that we don't know. We have to find the monthly payment. So let's solve for the value of x. So 24x is equal to what? 3054.20 minus 395. That should be 2659.2. X is equal to this divided by 24. That will be 110.8. So that should be your monthly payment for the 24 month. So you can write this as well. Now for part 3, in a sale, the price of a lawnmower is reduced from this to this. Calculate the percentage discount. Pretty easy. So first, what is the discount? Have this minus this. So 2395 minus 1595, that should be $800. Divide by the initial value times 100 for the percentage. That should be about 33.4% discount. Okay, so whenever I have this kind of answer, I like to double check. So 800 divided by 2395 times 100. Okay, confirm. That should be your answer. And that is your question number 6. Let's move on to question number 7. So each of this question carries 12 marks. So let's do that. So in the diagram, ABC is an equilateral triangle. So it means this is the same everywhere. Now the points P, Q, and R lie on AB, BC, and CA respectively, such that AP, so AP is equal to BQ and equal to RC, okay, CR. So these lengths are the same. So which also means that QC is equal to BP also equal to AR. I hope that makes sense, right? Now, anyways, part 1. Show that triangles APR, BQP, and CRQ are congruent. So pretty easy. So the first thing we can show is that because it is an equilateral triangle, all the angles here are the same. So that's the first thing we can write. So write down part 1 is angle, so for APR is APR, so angle A is equal to angle B is equal to angle C, which is 60 degrees, because ABC is equilateral. That's the first point. Now, second point, we have the corresponding side. So this is given to you, AP equal to BQ equal to CR. This is according to question. This is the second point. And finally, we have AR equal to, for B that will be BP equal to QC. So why is that? Because since ABC is equilateral, means that all these sides are the same. So we have, so since ABC is equilateral, we have, so because of that we have all the sides are equal. AB is equal to BC equal to CA. That's the first part. And from this we get that since we have, because of number 2, because of that, right, we get that the side of AR is equal to, for example, AR, how do you find AR? You take AC minus RC, right? AR is AC minus RC, which is the same as everything else, same as BP and QC. Okay, that is why by proving that, we prove that those three triangles, so bi is called SAS, proving these two sides are the same and the angle in between are the same. We prove that triangles APR, BQP, and CRQ are congruent. So you have to provide 3 points for your 3 marks to show they are congruent. Now for part 2, it is given that AB is 5 and PQ is 4. Okay, so AB, this is AB is 5 and PQ is what? PQ has been given by 4. Okay, what do you want us to find? So we have to find the area of triangle PQR over ABC. So how would you find the triangle area of PQR over ABC? So we have to use some kind of, because of this, we have to use this to find this value. So let's see what can we actually find. So all the 3 sides has to be the same for this triangle, right? Because it's an equilateral triangle. But because of that, this is the same as this. This is 4 and 4 as well. Okay, how would that make sense? Because the big one is an equilateral triangle, and also these 3 triangles are congruent, it means that these 3 sides are also the same. So from that we have all the sides on the inside are also 4. Okay, so we know all the sides now. We just have to find the triangles and see how is that possible to find the ratios as easily as possible, because I don't want to do much calculation because it is only 1 mark. Let me see how can we do this easily. So how would you find the area? So the hard way, the long way is definitely by calculation, but I just want to see if there's any other ways we can do this easily. So okay, so one thing we can do here, since all the sides are equal, and it means that all the angles are 60 as well. So it means that triangle ABC is congruent, so is similar to triangle PQR because all the angles are 60, 60, 60, and for ABC the angle are also 60, 60, 60. So they are both similar because all the angles are the same. So similarly, we can just use any side. So let's use this side. That will be 4 over will be 5, and because it is area, it has to be square. That will be 16 over 25. So your answer will be 16 over 25. So here we use similarity. So how could we use this? Because we realized that all the corresponding angles were equal. That's why we could use similarity, because these two triangles are similar. Now next step is to find the area of APR over ABC. So how do you find APR? So APR is APR is this triangle. So we know that the ratio of area of the big one and the small one was 16 to 25. So the big one was 25, the small one was 16. So what is remaining? 25 minus 16, that will be 9. So these three will be 9. So which means one of them divided by 3, that will be 3. So one of the triangles will have area of ratio of 3. So basically that will be 3 over 25. That will be your ratio for part B. So just to explain again, so we have this from part 1, which means that the area of the inside triangle was 16 and the outside triangle was 25. So you go back up at the picture, the big triangle here was 25 and the inside was 16. So now remaining will be these three triangles, right? So to find the area of the remaining triangles, you will do 25 minus 16, you will have 9. Now that is the remaining areas of these three triangles. Because they are all the same, to find one triangle area, we have to divide by 3. That will be 3, which means the area of APR is 3, of RCQ is 3, and QBP is also 3. So we take this one as required by your question, 3 over 25. That will be your ratio for the area. So now moving on to part B. In the diagram, ABCD is a square. So ABCD is a square, which means all the sides are equal. So this is equal, and this is equal for the square. The point P lies on the circle through A, B, C, and D. So this is the point P, and we can see that it is joined by all these lines, right? Now the first question is, explain why the angle APC is 90 degrees. So there's many ways to explain this, but first we can see APC. Explain why this is 90. So the reason why we can say here it is, one of the reasons at least, so since we have a square, this angle here is 90, this is 90, and this is 90, and this is 90. But if you observe, we have a quad, A, B, C, D. So the opposite angle have to be supplementary. So you can write APC and ABC are supplementary angles. So that's one of the reasons why you can say why they are 90, right? And other reason you can say the angle P is angle over, you can say on a semicircle. That's the other reason, but you can write either of them, you'll get your mark. Okay, now for part 2, explain why APB is equal to BPC. So APB, why is it equal to BPC? So here it is kind of tricky. The reason why this is the same as this is you have to look at the arc. So this angle goes on the same arc, so not arc but this one. As you can see, this length is reflecting from this angle. So this angle goes on this length. Now this angle also goes on the same length. So that's why they are the same. So basically explain that this is because arc BC is equal to arc AB. So these two have the same length. So since this arc is the same length as this arc, this angle here has to be the same. That's the reason why you can write that. Now for part 3, hence find the value of APB. So APB, so since this is 90 and these two are the same, this has to be 45, right? So this is 45. Now next one is find APD. So where's APD? Let's have a look. So APD, so we have to find this angle. So this is 45, this is 45, and what is this one? But now if you observe, we have BPDC as another quad, and this angle is supposed to be 90 because this is 90, this is also 90. And if this is 45, this also has to be 45. So this angle here will be 45 times 3. That will be 135. Or the other explanation will be the same as well, because the length of arc is the same as this. So this angle is the same as this. So same 45, the same way. Now for part 4, we have PC and AD intersect at the point R. So as you can see, this is the point R. Okay. And given that the angle ARC is 127, find the angle PDC. So PDC. So we'll have to find this angle. Now the one thing we can do here is, so this angle is 127 and we have these two lines meeting at the point R. So the angle which is vertically opposite has to be the same. So this is also 127. Okay. Now we know this is 45, 45 and 45. Okay. So we know this value is 45 and this is 127. So what is this angle? This will be your third angle of the triangle. So 180 minus 45 minus 127, that will be 8 for the small one. Now we have to find this big one. This big one is just the right angle of the square. So this angle here will be 90 plus 8, that will be 98 for your angle. Okay, so that should be everything. That will be question number 7. Now let's move on to question number 8. We have the variables x and y are connected by this equation. Now the table below shows some values of x and the corresponding value of y. The values of y are correct to one decimal place where appropriate. Okay. Now we have to draw this curve. So let's do that. The first point is 0.25 will be here, minus 9.5. That should be below 9.5 will be this one. Then we have 0.5 should be minus 4. And then we have 0.75 minus 1.8. Minus 1.8 will be this one. And then we have 1, which is minus 0.5. And then we have 1.25. That will be 0.5. And we have 1.5. That should be 1.3. 1.3 will be right here. Then we have 1.75, 2.1. 2.1 will be, this is 2.2, will be in between. Then we have 2 will be 2.8. 2.8 should be about this value. Okay, so here we have the points. Now we just have to join them together. So I will use a different color. So make sure you have a smooth curve. Okay. Not so great, but I'll try my best. Okay, this is my curve. It's not that best, but it's almost smooth as I could do. Now for part B, by drawing a tangent, find the gradient at this point. at x equal to 0.75. So 0.75 will be here. Find the gradient at this point. So let's draw a line. So we can just draw a line that is along this curve. Should be about here in this direction. Okay, so let's find a point above. I'll choose this point, and let's choose a point below. I'll choose this point. So the first point here is 1.5. That will be 3.4. So the first point is 1.5 and 3.4. And then the second point here is what? This one is 0.25 and then minus 4.5. So find the gradient. M is equal to y2 minus y1 minus 4.5 minus 3.4. Divide by x2 minus x1, so 0.25 minus 1.5. So let's find the value. Divide by 0.25 minus 1.5. That should be 6.32. So that will be your value for the gradient. Now for part C is the line y intersect the curve at the point P. Now on the grid, draw this line. So we have to find 2 points to draw this line. So if x equal to 0, y is equal to 2. That will be 0, 2. Next, if y equal to 0, x equal to 2. That will be the other point, which is 2, 0. So let's draw this line on the curve. So I'll use a different color here so we can see exactly where it goes. So it goes to these 2 points, which is 2, 0 and 0, 2. So always don't forget to label. This is a straight line, so label this as your line. This is y equal to 2 minus x. Okay. So this is a little mistake here. Has to be a straight line. Okay. Now this is part this done. Now part 2, we have to write down the x coordinate at the point P. So we have to find out where they meet. So according to you, my graph is shows to be about this value. So we have to find this value where they meet. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 1.25 and then 1 square. So 1.25 plus 1 square. So what is the value of 1 small square? Let's see. So this is 10 square. 20 square is 1. So let's write this down. 20 square is 1. So 1 square is 1 divided by 20. Okay, so the value of P is, as we have seen, here we have 1.25 plus 1 over 20. So that will be 1.25 plus 1 over 20. That should be 1.3. X is 1.3, where they meet. Okay, so that is my value. Okay, now for part 3, here we have find. So this value of x is a solution to this equation. Find the value of b and c. So let's do that. So we have these two equations. Let's solve them simultaneously. I mean, we have replaced the value of y in y here. You will have what? So you have 2x. So 2 minus x equal to 2x minus 5 over 2x. Now if you want to simplify this, multiply everywhere by this one, you will have 4x squared minus 2x squared equal to 4x squared minus 5. Now bring everything to one side, you will have 4 plus 2, that will be 6x squared minus 4x minus 5. Now if you compare to the main equation given to you, this will be 6x squared minus bx minus c. So b is 4, c is 5. So b is 4, c is 5. Now for part D, let f of x equal to this. So given that f of a equal to b and show that f of minus a is equal to this one. So let's do this. So given that this will replace, you will have f of a is equal to 2a minus 5 over 2a is equal to b. Now find this value. F of minus a is what? F of minus a will be minus 2a minus 5 over minus 2a. Now if you take out the value of minus, you will have, this will give you 2a, that will become minus 5 over 2a. Now as you can see, 2a minus 5 over 2a is b, so this becomes b, so that is becomes minus b. This is shown as required. So just to recap, if you simplify this, this becomes minus 2a, so here we have minus become plus 5 over 2a. Right. Now if you take out the value of minus, that will become 2a minus 5 over 2a. Now this 2a minus 5 over 2a is equal to b. Replace, you will have minus b as your answer. Now for part 2, hence using the table on the previous page, draw the graph of this for this. So using the table on the previous page, draw the graph from, so we have a table here. So here is the previous page. We have to draw a graph from -2 to this one. Okay, so basically we just have to replace the values back inside. So it is just the, as you can see here, because we know that if you were to put a negative value, it will give you minus b. So what it means is that if your value of x was negative, that will be, let's say, 0.25 minus 0.5 minus 0.75 minus 1, 1.25 minus 1.5 minus 1.75 and minus 2. So if you were to put this value of x inside your function, your y will give you the other value, which is 9.5, 4, 1.8, 0.5, minus 0.5, minus 1.3, minus 2.1, and minus 2.8. So you have to draw this curve for these two new points, for these two new sets on the graph. So pretty easy. So minus 0.25, it will be, we can just plot this, okay? We'll see what happens, right? So it will be 9.5. And then we have minus 0.5 will be 4. Then we have minus 0.75 will be 1.8. Then we have minus 1 is 0.5. That should be between 1. Okay, and then we have minus 1.25 will be minus 0.5 below, about here. Then we have minus 1.5 should be minus 1.3. This is 1.3 should be right here. Then we have minus 1.75 should be the value of minus 2.1. So that will be 2.1 between those two. And the final value will be minus 2, minus 2.8. That should be about right here. Okay, so from this we can just connect the dots and draw the other curve that we require to draw. So this will connect with this. Okay, so make sure it is also a smooth curve joining those two. So try your best to make this as smooth as possible, as you can see. Okay, so that will be your answer for this one, and this is your question number 8. Now let's move on to question number 9. So here we have first part. Here we have triangle ABC. As you can see, we have AC as 11, BC as 5.5, BAC as 25. Now it is given that ABC is an obtuse angle. Find the angle. So first thing, what is an obtuse angle? Obtuse angle is between 180 and 90. So you have to know this to find the angle. So we have to find this angle ABC. So since we know this angle, we know this side, we have to know this angle, and this is how we can use your sine rule. So sine of the angle of 25 over 5.5 should be equal to sine of the angle B over 11. So from this you will have sine of B is equal to 11 sine of 5 divided by 5.5. Let's see what do we get. 11 of sine of 5 divided by 5.5, that should be 0.845. So since the value of sine is positive, it will be in the first quadrant or in the second quadrant. So B is sine inverse, that will be 57.7, or it can be 180 minus answer 122.3. So now we have to choose, because the value of the angle is obtuse, we can only choose this value. So your angle ABC is only 122.3. That is your value for your angle. Now that was part A. Let's move on to part B of the question. So now part B, we have what? So we have a triangle DEF. In the diagram, DF is 12 and D is X and EF is this. Okay, so part 1, form an equation and show that it reduces to this. So we have to use since we know all the three sides and the angle here, we can use the cosine rule. So let's write this down. Cosine of 120 is equal to x squared plus this square will be 25 plus 10x plus x squared minus 144 divided by 2 times x times 5 plus x. Now if you evaluate this, cos of 120, that should be minus 0.5. So minus half is equal to, simplify, this plus this will be 2x squared plus 10x, and this minus this, 25 minus 144, that should be minus 119 over 2 times x times 5 plus x. Now here we have 2, they cancel out, so this will give you, cross multiply, you will have minus 5x minus x squared is equal to 2x squared plus 10x minus 119. Now if you simplify, so we have to bring everything to one side, so this plus this, that will be 3x squared, 10x plus 5 will be 15x, and minus 119 equal to 0. This is shown as required, they are the same, so this is exactly what we need to show this. Now for part 2, solve the equation, giving your answer correct to 3 decimal place. So we have to use the formula, x is equal to minus b plus minus b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a. 2a is 6. Now simplify, 15 squared minus 4 times a times c, so 119. That should be this much. So that is minus 15 plus minus root of 1653 divided by 6. So for the first value of x, we can find that minus 15 plus root of 1653 divided by 6. That will be 4.276, or it can be x equal to, let's do minus minus, so minus 15 minus root of 1653 divided by 6, minus 9.276. So two values possible. X can be minus 9.276 or 4.276, correct to 3 decimal place. Now for part 3 is find the length of EF in millimeters, correct to the nearest millimeter. Now going back to your main drawing, EF is 5 plus x. So EF will be what? So EF will be 5 plus the positive value of x, 4.276, that will be 9.276 centimeters, right? Yeah, centimeters. So now to convert this to millimeters, we have to multiply by 10. That will be 92.76. So correct to the nearest millimeter, that will be 93 millimeters. Okay, so that will be your question number 9. Let's move on to question number 10. So the distribution of masses of 140 eggs is given in the table below. So here we have 140 eggs. Now, so this is given to you already. So we have to use a scale of 1 centimeter for 5 grams on the x-axis, on the horizontal axis, from 30 to 70. So let's do that. So from 30 to 70. That is your M, starting from 30. It says to use 1 centimeter as 5 grams, so that will be 40, 50, 60, and 70. Okay, so that will be your horizontal x-axis. Now for the y-axis, it has to be 1 is 1 basically. Okay, so that is your frequency density. So if you have to draw a histogram, you have to find a few values, right? So frequency density is equal to frequency divided by class width. So first let's find class width. So class width for each of these values will be this minus this will be 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and 10. So FD will be frequency divided by this will be 3, 4, 6, 7. So 28 divided by 5, that should be 5.6, and that will be 1.2. Okay, so in that case, that will be the frequency density we need to draw on this graph. So first one, let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can stop. Yeah, we can stop here. It's okay. Now for the first class, from 35 to 40, it is 3. 35 to 40, it is 3. So it will be 35 is here. That should be this value. The next one, from 40 to 45, it should be 4. So go up 4. And next one will be from 45 to 50, it should be 6. And then we have from 50 to 55, it should be 7. So 7 will be right here, continue this line. Now we have next thing will be from 55 to 60 will be 5.6. 5.6 will be right here. And let's see for the last one, from 60 to 70, that will be 1.2. 1.2 will be this one. So that will be your histogram for this distribution of mass of eggs. This is your answer for the graphs. Now for part 2 is complete the cumulative frequency table below. So pretty easy. We have to look at this table to fill out the value. So pretty easy. So this is 0. This is pretty normal. This is 15. And this will be 15 plus 20. So we have to add 15 plus 20. That will be 35. Then we have to take 35. You have to plus 30. That will be 75. So 75 plus 35, that will be 110. And 110 plus 28, that should be 138. So I think I made a mistake somewhere. So here we have, okay, mistake here, 35 plus 30, that should give you 65, okay? That's a mistake. So be careful. Now 65 plus 35, that should be 100. Okay. Now 100 plus 28, that will be 128. So 128 plus 12, that should be 140. So okay. So make sure if you want to use a calculator, always do that because it helps you to find the correct value. So this is the table for your cumulative frequency. Now for part 2, on the grid on the next page, draw the smooth cumulative frequency curve. This is your x and this is your y. So let's plot that on the next curve. So for the first value we have 35, 0, so 35, 0. Then we have 40, 15. So 15 will be, this is 10, in between. Then we have 45, 35. Then we have 50, 65. Then we have 55, 100. Then we have 60, 128. Then we have 70 will be 140. Okay, so now try your best to join the points with a smooth curve because your curve will definitely help you to find the answers below. So make sure that you draw your curve as smooth as possible. So for me, I will try my best with my pen, but it's not going to be the best curve. But anyways, here you go. That should be, your curve should look something like this. Okay. Now for part C, use a graph to find the median mass is half of the number of x, which is 140. That will be your 70th value. So go to your graph, go to 70, draw this line. You have to find the corresponding value for the mass. So it shows to be about 51. So according to my curve, it's 51 grams. Now for the range, we have to find Q3 minus Q1. Upper quartile will be 3/4 times 140, which is what? 105, so 1/5 value. So let's find that. So 105 should be, well, in between this one. So because we have, this is 110, so 105, this is 110, will be between 110 and 100 to find 105. So for my graph, it shows to be about this value. So that is 55.5. Okay, so 55.5 will be the upper quartile. Now we have to minus the lower quartile, which is 1/4 times 140. Let's see what is this. So 1/4 times 140, that should be 35. The 35th value, go back to your graph. 35 is between 40 and 30. This one should give you the exact value here. That should be 45. So will be 45 for the lower quartile. So the range will be this minus this. Minus 45, that should be 10.3 grams. Okay, so that will be part C of your answer. Now let's move on to the next part. It tells me that the 12 eggs with the greatest mass are classed as extra large, and the 30 eggs with the least mass are classed as small. Now use a graph to find an estimate for the smallest difference in mass between an extra large egg and a small egg. So to find the smallest difference, we have to find the smallest of the largest egg, so 12 egg. So 140 minus 12 is what? That will be 128. So 128 will be where? 128 will be this value. That will give you this point. So that is the lightest, so that is the least heavy egg in the extra large class, which has a mass of 60. So 60. Now we have to minus the small egg. For small, it says 30 eggs from the least mass, so from the beginning. So we have 30, so count 30, should be about here. Okay, to find this value, this is, so 44, right? So 60 minus 44, that will be what? 16 grams to my estimate. So the reason why we take this value and not any value is because for you to find the smallest difference, you have to take the lowest maximum, the lower bound of the maximum minus the upper bound of the minimum to find the smallest difference. That's why we take the max of the, we take the heaviest of the small egg and then the lightest of the extra large egg to find the smallest difference. That will be 16 grams according to your graph. You have to show your work to your graph for your answer. Now this is your question number 10. Let's move on to the last question, question number 11. So some transformation of a plane are given in the following table. So we have these transformation has been given to you and the meaning is on the table. Okay, now for part 1, so you may use the grid on the next page. So if you're given a grid, always use the grid because it helps you to find your answer. So let's do that. So first, let's label the graph. Let's just draw our lines. So let me draw the few lines. So let's say here I have my y-axis, for example. So the reason why you should always use a graph is because you can visualize your answer and you won't have any confusion when it comes down to answering your questions, because you can be sure that you have the correct answer. This is your x and that should be your y. Label these as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, and minus 6. Outside we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And the bottom we have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, and minus 7. So always use a graph when you are given a graph. It helps you to answer your questions. Now, first one, the point A has coordinates of 2, 3. So let's write down where's your point A. Your point A will be 2, 3. 2, 3 is right here. That is your point A. Okay? Now, first question, find the coordinates of MYA. MY is reflection in the y-axis of the points A. Okay? So go back to your graph. If you reflect the point A on the y-axis, it will go to this one. So there will be this point, which is minus 2, 3. So your answer here will be, the new point will be minus 2, 3. Now next one, find the coordinates of this. So basically, this is same. So this is minus 2, 3. We have to apply MD to that. So MD is reflection in the line of y equal to minus x. So let's do that. So first thing, let's draw the line y equal to minus x. It will be in this direction. Okay, that's the line. Now if you want to reflect this point on the line, it will become, if you count, that's exactly half. That will be right here. So the new point will be minus 3, 2. Okay, so this will be minus 3, 2. Okay, now for part C, the inverse of this maps B onto A. So what is this one? This one is rotation 90 degrees anti-clockwise, center O. So 90 degrees. So anti-clockwise will be in this direction. Okay, clockwise is this direction. Okay, so that's what we need to know. Origin is, so center is the origin, so it is the point 0, 0. Now the inverse of this maps B onto A. Find the coordinates of this. So A is this point, remember. So we are saying that the inverse of this maps B onto A. So basically this one maps A onto B, if that makes sense. So we take inverse of this to map B onto A. So to map A onto B, you have to use this rotation. So go to your point A and rotate A anti-clockwise 90 about the origin. So how would you do that? That will be in this direction. So we can just count if you want to, we can count. That will be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Rotation will be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 will be this point. Come this point. So this one is minus 2, so minus 3, 2. So your point B is minus 3, 2 as well. Okay. So just to recap. So to map B onto A, we have to use the inverse of this. Now to map A onto B, we have to use just this. We'll give you point B, so we have to find the point B by applying this rotation onto the point A. So that was pretty straightforward. Now for part 2 is write down the matrix which represent MX. MX is a reflection in the x-axis. So for this question, I do have a shortcut for you guys. So if you want to find the matrix representing reflection, rotation, always use this technique. So we have, let's say you draw your axis. This is your y, this is your x. So we always begin with 2 points. The first point is 1, 0, and this one is 0, 1. So we always begin with those 2 points. And we're beginning with this one is the first point we need to look at. Now if you were to reflect in your x-axis, this point will not move, right? Reflect in your x, this does not move, so that will be the same thing. So we write 1, 0. How about this one? If you reflect in your x-axis, this will become this point. This is the point 0, minus 1. So this will become 0, minus 1. So that is your matrix representing a reflection in your x-axis. So now for part B, what single transformation given in the table is equivalent to this? So this is first applying a reflection. So this is reflection in the x-axis, and then here it is a rotation of 180 center. So let's first have an example. So if you had this point, right, and if you want to reflect in your x-axis, this will become this point, for example. And if you rotate by 180, this will become this point. So finally, all this thing will give you this became this. So basically, one transformation could be a reflection in this line. So let's write this down. So it could be reflection in the y-axis, that will be my. So this was equivalent to my. So just to recap, first thing what happened was a reflection in your x-axis, and then followed by a rotation for 180 degrees. So let's go back to re-show you that again. For example, if you have this point A, first reflect on the x-axis, then will go down, you will have this point. And then if you want to rotate by 180, you have to draw a straight line. So how to find the point? So pretty easy. The way I like to do this is I like to take this point and connect to your center, and when you draw a straight line, you just count the distance, which is exactly to your center. It will reflect to the same distance here. So this point will become this point after rotation of 180. So basically this finally became this. So in short, it was only a reflection on your y-axis to get this point. So that's why these two is equal to my, which was simply a rotation on your y-axis. So now let's move on to part B. The points P and Q have coordinates this and this. Okay. Part 2, write down the length of PQ. That is 5 units. But you can just calculate that as well. So it will be So if we'll do this, so this minus this will be 5 square plus 0 square, that will be square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, same thing. Now for this one, calculate the length of p prime q prime. So you use your formula as well. So square root of x2 minus x1, that will be 3 square, plus y2 minus y1, that will be 4 square. That should be 9 plus 16, that will be 25, and that is 5 as well. Now for part 3, PQ is mapped onto P prime Q prime by a single rotation. It was by a rotation, okay? By using the grid below, part 1, find by drawing the coordinates of the center of rotation. So to find the center of rotation, we have to draw the perpendicular bisectors of those two lines, PQ and P prime Q prime. So first thing, let's label the points. So the point P is given to you by 4, 0, and the point Q was 9, 0. That's your initial points. And then these 2 points became, the point P prime became 4, 4, and then the point 9, 0 became 7, 8. 7, 8 was this point, right? These two were the images from this to this. Now we have to find the center of rotation. So first we have to connect the object to its image. Object to its image, that's the first thing we do. And then we have to draw the perpendicular bisector of each of those lines. So this one, it is a straight line, so it is easy to find the bisector. It has to go through the midpoint exactly at 90 degrees to this line. So it will be in this direction, right? Now for this one, it is kind of hard to know, so I will go and use my compass to find the perpendicular bisector of that line. So I will draw an arc on this side, and then go on this point, and then intersect this arc and this arc. So here you can see we have 2 points, 1 point here and 1 point here. So by joining those 2 points, we will have your perpendicular bisector of these two. So it should be. So at the point when the blue line meets with the green line, that will be your center of rotation. This is 0, 2, will be your center of rotation. That is, by drawing, you found this center. Now for part B, you have to measure the clockwise angle of rotation. So how do you measure the angle? So first you have to know what is the angle of rotation. So this is the object connecting to this one, and this was the image, okay? So from that, we have to first measure this angle so we can find the clockwise rotation. So our goal is to find this angle, but to find this, we can just find this and take 360 minus this to find this one for a clockwise rotation. So just measure this one. This one is about, so according to my drawing, it shows to be about what value? So it shows to be about 53. So this angle is 53 for my drawing. So which means this one is 360 minus 53, that should be 307. So clockwise rotation will be 307 degrees. Okay, so that was the last question of this paper. I hope that was somewhat helpful. If you guys have any other questions, let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you soon.